welcome to another dissertation diaries. It is now the 29th of December. I haven't done any of my dissertation really since term finished, and basically if you've seen my last weekly vlog you will have seen that I got my feedback. It was no feedback, it was nothing. I got told nothing. Basically, from that feedback, I've had to change some things, which would suggest that I was given actual feedback. I wasn't. I just emailed him asking, should I display my results like this? And he was like, no, you should display them how you plan to display them before I told you it wasn't a systematic review. So basically, I think I'm doing a systematic review. I wasn't invited to the meeting where they spoke about systematic reviews, so funnily enough I took that as it's not a systematic review, and the fact that I sent him my outline which didn't have a method or results in, he was fine with that. He was then like, you should have a method, and I was like, oh well, if I have a method surely I need results. He was like, yeah you do. I was like, what? And then I asked him, how should I display my results? Should it just be like, oh, this was the most common symptom, or should I use percentages? He's like, you should use percentages. So, over Christmas, what I did is figured out all my percentages. And I figured out because basically I'm looking at 10 papers, but within those 10 papers, there are 24 studies, or 24 cases, which means that I'm dividing everything by 24 to get my percentages. And basically I wrote all of my percentages down for like symptoms, treatments, blood test results, and then I made myself a to-do list. So for my dissertation, I now need to do all of the results section again, make my prisma flowchart, edit my abstract, and then I have to do so many boring things of basically just checking that every sentence is APA correct, because I don't know the APA rules for percentages. And then here's something I've been doing a lot recently, is I will include things in my reference list that I never cited. So like I must have had them in there at some point and then deleted the sentence, and obviously I don't want to do that for my dissertation. I'm pretty sure I'm blurry. I don't want to do that for my dissertation, so I need to check every single citation is in my reference and every reference is in my citations. So yeah, pretty sure I was out of focus for all of that, but that's just what happens when you don't know how to use your fucking camera. This was my old to-do list based off, I asked him 6 questions and he just responded yes, no, yes, no. I've got all of that. Then I was trying to work out the age, which I'm not even going to include any of that, so that was redundant. Then this was me trying to work out which papers are actually technically included. This is what I settled on. I've got 10 papers with 24 cases within those papers. Then, my camera stopped recording, but basically then I have all of the symptoms that I then wrote down, and I've worked out the percentages, done the same thing for then, like I've put them in order of how I'm going to discuss them. Then I've done the same thing with the medication and the treatment that was given, the same thing for whether they recovered, and then the same thing for their blood test results. Then I have my dissertation list. So basically, I need to fix the method, and then I need to write the results, I guess.
I may lose my way, you know, I already lost it today. Just to be clear, I admit to all of my crimes. You know, I've been a fool so many times. When a hopeless romantic finds love, he's bound to start looking in places that he's not gonna find hope at all. I'm always gonna fall. It's not so hopeless after all.
So basically, I got asked a few days ago if I would write a paper for my supervisor. Well, my supervisor got asked to write a paper and he was like, Saskia, do you want to do it? And I was like, ooh. So I'm now writing a paper that's not for my dissertation, but it's going to go in a journal about the long-term effects of COVID on the central nervous system because it's kind of similar. However, from my reading, it's not that similar because the only bit that's actually similar is the neuropsychiatric stuff. But like neurological stuff like encephalitis and headaches. Yeah. So yeah, I've currently got that open, and what I've done is just copied my intro, and then I'm trying to find papers obviously that actually support my point. Then what I've done is I've gone into my graveyard for my dissertation because I'm obviously not using anything from in here, so anything in here that's relevant goes into this paper. But I'm also trying to obviously write my dissertation at the same time because that's due first. But I might be done, potentially. So basically how I was originally writing everything with, I don't know where it is because I cannot see behind my camera because I'm stupid. Everything I was writing was like, oh, 17.3% of patients experience symptoms, and then I was told I wasn't doing a systematic search, so it's like, hee, I don't need that. So I would just put like, oh, characteristics of OCD were reported. But now in my lit review, this will now be blurred because don't steal my work, but like showing anyway. Now I have to change it all, and I had to change it all to do all of like, oh, in 60% of cases this was used. So that I think is done, but I'm slightly under the word count, so I want to add a bit more, but I don't know where to add it. And I did also add, where is it? I did add my prisma diagram, like my flow diagram, but I think she looks a little bit blurry, so I kind of might need to fix that somehow. And then a really fun task I'm going to do is, apparently I do this a lot in like just exams and essays where I will reference something but not cite it. So I'm going to go through every single one of this 8 pages of references and check if I've actually then cited it. Because obviously some of it will have been in my graveyard, which I then deleted. I obviously need to re-alphabetize that as well. It's so dark and it's literally only 3 o'clock. But when my laptop stops being such a little bitch and starts functioning again, I think it's probably the Wi-Fi. I'm going to do a tiny bit of my lit review. Tiny. I need to do, basically because I modified my results section, I need to go into my abstract, and I don't know, basically I'm not really sure how to structure my abstract. I've currently got it like split into background, methods, results, discussion, and my results section literally just says like, oh, the empirical findings conclude on the common symptoms, the clinical presentations, treatments and outcomes, rather than saying like, oh, we found this is the most common symptom, because I feel like I can't summarize enough for it to be useful to go into the abstract. But then also my abstract isn't very long. I think you're allowed up to 150 words or 200, I don't remember. I've got 116. So I feel like I need a bit more. I have just realised, because I also now have 10 studies, 24 cases, I'm going to quickly change that in my methods, saying, oh, the review describes 10 eligible studies, or 24 eligible cases from 24 cases from 10 eligible studies. Word honestly needs to grow up, not Word. Google Docs needs to grow up because she's been getting real aggy with spelling. I've just spelt from wrong. I just put F-O-M, I missed the R, and it's an unknown word. It won't even give me suggestions of what it could be. I don't know if it's had like an update or something, but she's kind of shit. My camera's also shit. She's just not focusing anymore. At least I'm not filming any like proper sit down videos, but like, she doesn't focus. Somewhere I've changed the focus, but like, because it's currently on face tracking, right? My face is still here, my face hasn't moved. It's tracking my left eye, but it's my left eye's still there, but it won't focus on it. Like, I don't fucking understand it. I've also, if I end up vlogging from like a side angle, I've got a hot water bottle in my back because I went back to the gym. I did 3 days on at the gym after having 10 days off. Also, it turns out I'm a lot stronger than I thought. I basically never go up weights in anything. Like in dumbbells, I haven't gone up weights in like a year. I'm not gonna go up weights in like a year because I just can't master them. But like on the machines, I didn't realise I could go up so much as I can. I mean, it's not much before any gym lads come at me, but like, I'm not that weak. I guess I'm gonna, what did I say I was doing? I don't fucking know. Oh, I'm gonna modify the discussion.
Pressure's on, need some air to breathe. Can't go back to the days of
I don't know if my camera will focus, but I thought maybe with a window it would struggle less. But basically, I honestly don't know how much I've updated, but I emailed the like head of the lit review module a while ago being like, babe, I don't think my supervisor's like supervising, like, you know, let me know if like I've got enough feedback because I don't think I fucking have. He replied today at like 9 AM being like, hee, it's fine. I was like, okay, great. Because like, oh, I'll speak to your supervisor to like just see what's happening. Less than like 20-30 minutes later, my supervisor's emailed me like, I think it would be a great idea for us to have a meeting. I'm like, oh, you do? Our first ever meeting? That would be good, wouldn't it? And then the the head of the module emailed me back again. I was like, just had an email thread with blank and they've said that you're doing really well. And I was like, yeah, great, fine, but like, okay, that's not what I was asking. And he said, oh, it's just with the type of work that you're doing, bracket systematic review, you won't need that much input. I was like, oh, so I am doing systematic review. I'd like to thank everyone that told me this today. Don't you love it when you find out you're doing a systematic review, not from your supervisor, 10 days before the deadline? Like, I had an inkling, but I was never explicitly told. I thought I was doing a lit review, like a general narrative search, just lit review search. And then when I got my feedback, he was like, you should include the methods that you used. And I was like, methods? But it's not a systematic search. He was like, yeah, you should have a results heading too. I was like, but it's not a systematic search. No, it's a systematic search. I've even explicitly asked him via email, can I just clarify, am I doing a systematic search? And he was like, he just didn't reply. He replied to all the other questions and not that one. So I'm gonna flat out ask him if I'm doing a systematic review, because I would assume I am, but who knows? And now I've got a meeting with him at 3, which I think is honestly just to like save himself and say, no, I met with all my students. I've met with him for about 4 minutes individually. I met with him once for like 20 minutes and it was him describing his project that was nothing to do with anything anyone was interested in. And I was like, babe, I'm not doing it. Then I met with him for about 4 minutes and he was like, oh, it's just a shame you're upset about the project. And I was like, yeah, babe, it's shit. And he was like, here's another one you can do. I was like, fair enough, okay. Still not to do with any of my interests, but obviously now I'm interested in it because I'm doing it. Yes. We're gonna have a meeting, we're gonna discuss at 3 PM. I've written down some questions, but I still don't have that many questions because funnily enough, I've just been figuring everything out for myself because I've had no input, no support. So I've got a meeting at 3, I guess, with my supervisor. Is this my first ever real meeting? Yes, it is.
How can I see you when you can't see me too? Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Forget mistakes or your regrets. No, it's not the time. Oh no, not yet. What can come between me and you? There are no versions of the truth. We're only here on borrowed time. Never prepared to lose.
So dark and it's literally only 3 o'clock. Oh, had my meeting, 15 minutes. I'm doing a systematic review. We kind of knew this, but it's nice to have clarification. I now basically just need to do the appendix. And I need to add some keywords to my abstract. I need to figure out this whole abstract thing. It's not really working for me. But basically I need to put some summaries of the studies in the appendix. and the search strategy in the appendix. And then I'm kind of done. So,
Ending this video here. Only got some small bits left to do, but they will either go in a final dissertation diaries, or a week in the life. XO Gossip Girl.